Jimmy, we just had Alex Kessman here. The way that he bounced back from the BC game, over these last few weeks, especially on Saturday, has been pretty impressive. I mean, what have you seen out of him as a fellow senior, as a guy who comes to work every day with a veteran mentality, the way that he's responded and rebounded really this season?
Kesman's a fantastic kicker. He's good at his job, and I have all the confidence in the world in him. So, I mean, when he misses that extra point, you're like, that's out of character for him. You know what I mean? And, then you have those thoughts where you're like, it's not going to happen the rest of the year. So when he drills all those kicks against VTech last weekend, it's honestly what you expect from him because he's such a good kicker, and he's really good at his job.
Jimmy, you guys are missing so many guys, over the game last week. Now it's 2 games in a row where the offensive line's been putting together work to get the running game going. What did you guys, now that you've had time to look at the film, I know you guys are already looking forward to next week, but what have you guys take notes from what you did this week that was really good and what you're looking forward to keep going?
We executed the game plan well, and that's, all you can really ask for when the coach presents to you what you're going to do in the game on Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, and then you practice it for the rest of the week. You hope that it all comes together on Saturday, and luckily it did in the past 2 weeks. So continue on that train.
Jimmy, I'm interested to know where you were November 12th, 2016, and how you reacted when the ball went through the uprights.
I was in Sutherland room 613 with Michael Vardzell, my roommate, and we were very happy when it went through. He and I were watching it. I think I had some Ben and Jerry's back then. And we just sat and watched it in our dorm room. It was awesome. I wish I could have traveled that game, but yeah, it was. I remember everybody on our dorm room like yelling and screaming.
Do you travel at all that year?
I traveled to a UVA game
once,
and they just rewarded me for going hard on the scout team. But other than that, no, I didn't travel twice.
Jimmy, how have you grown up since your freshman year?
Oh, that's I've grown a lot physically. I can grow facial hair now, as you guys can see. But no, I've grown a lot. Luckily, I've had great coaches and, mentors along the way. But my knowledge for the game, my experience, obviously, I've been able to play a lot of football, fortunately, and become a lot better player since I was a freshman. So,
Jimmy, obviously you're around that team. What did it take to pull that game off in 2016? And is there anything you can recreate, or how do you try to emulate what they did 4 years ago?
Yeah, the biggest thing I remember from that week is after our offensive unit meeting on Sunday night when we went over the game before, we, touched on Clemson real quick. And it was really everybody that walked out of the room just had belief that we were going to win that game. And I think you see that in this team too, the confidence that we go into every week. And especially now, it feels good to get 2 wins under your belt. And, you don't want to reflect on that because it's, this game is a what have you done for me lately, So we haven't won this game yet. So we have a lot to prove. That 2-game win streak doesn't mean anything right now. But it's just a belief every day that you're going to go down to Clemson. You hop on that plane to go down to Clemson, South Carolina to win. You're not going down there to lose. And that's just like every day I show up because we're going to win this weekend. I'm not showing up just to practice and show up and give Clemson a fun win for them. We're going down to beat Clemson. And I think the biggest thing from 2016 that I'm trying to make sure that we have here is the belief. And it's not hard to make sure we have that because a lot of guys do believe that.
Jimmy, how hard was it for you back in 2018, the ACC title game, not being able to play in that game against Clemson?
It was heartbreaking. To be honest with you, that was the number 1 game I was looking forward to all year. 2018 was my second year starting, and I knew they had 2 defensive tackles in the first round, another D end in this first round, another one in the second round. So I knew if we got to the championship game, that'd be a big game for me to put my name on the map, really, kind of for as long as it goes with, NFL teams looking at me. And I wanted to get to the ACC championship. That's all we break it down on in the off season is getting there and, going to win it. But yeah, I broke my ankle 2 games before it, and it was crushing. It was probably one of the worst things that ever happened in my life. So I'm excited to go down there and play now. My younger sister is a junior there, so it means my whole family's going to be down there.
Jimmy, everyone knows Clemson is very good. I mean, they're one of the top programs in the country. for the past several years. But you guys looking forward, they're in the ACC, they're third in overall in scoring defense, third in rushing defense, and they're the second best sack producing defense behind Pitt's defense. What have you guys been looking at to see that you guys can try to exploit, do better, or what you're preparing to face going into this game?
I'm not going to cover any specifics, but they do a lot of, they have a variety when it comes to their scheme. So they're going to throw everything at us. They have a ton of blitzes that they throw at us, stunts. They cover everything. So really that's our job, is to make sure we cover everything this week. Go through everything. We're not going to have enough reps on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to get through it, and physical reps, but we can get it in mental reps when the O-line comes back here at night, tomorrow night, making sure we get in the film room and, seeing everything before we see it on Saturday. So just make sure that we're prepared, really. And they're well coached. So, we gotta be sound.
Jimmy,
I asked Alex this question
Kelly.
already, but I asked Alex this question too, and I wanted to ask you. You have a couple more games left as the Pitt Panther. What has being a Pitt Panther meant to you? What has the last 4 years meant to you?
It's meant everything. I always wanted to grow up and be a football player, and Pitt was the only place that gave me an opportunity to play at the Division I level. So I took a chance, with the advice of my mom and dad, to come walk on here, and luckily it worked out for me. So I'm extremely grateful to Coach Narduzzi and all the staff here and the University of Pittsburgh. I love this city. I love this school. And, I'm a Pitt man until the day I die. So being a Pitt Panther is everything to me. I love this school and I love this team.
Jimmy, speaking of being a Pitt man, how did you let your sister go to Clemson, not to Pitt?
She always wanted to go down south. So, she'll be cheering for Pitt on Saturday. So that's all that really matters, I guess.
Which sister is it that goes to Clemson?
Younger one, Kira.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, Pat told us that AJ Davis had a root canal before the game on Saturday. What were you guys talking about as a team? What did you see from him? That just sounds like an excruciating experience for anyone to then play through.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know until I heard after the game that AJ had a root canal. So it's impressive. Yeah, I had no idea that he had one. So.
It's like when you saw him before the game, there was like no indication that he was going through anything. He was just like, I'm here.
Yeah. And during the game we were talking. I remember specifically talking to him on the field at one point, and I didn't notice anything. And then after I was like, "You good, man?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, it just kind of hurts where they numbed it up, put the needle in. I was like, "All right, nice."
Jimmy, how proud are you of what the O-line did, considering what you guys had to overcome? You had to put new pieces in, and is that something that builds? Is that confidence that can build from game to game?
For sure. I'm extremely proud of those guys. From Bryce was the only starter during practice. I wasn't around. Cradle, Gabe, Carter, we were all out. And, Bryce had to be, the only leader really out there. But then they all stepped up. Carson, he's done a fantastic job. He's played a lot of football here since 2018. So he did it. I wasn't worried about him. And then Blake Sabovic stepped up. He really has only gotten a couple snaps all season. Now he goes into starting against Virginia Tech, my last home game, really at Pitt. So, you have those thoughts, but then really I've known Big Z for the past 3 years, and, I really wasn't worried about him. And then Matt Gonsalves, really, because I didn't practice, Owen Drexel didn't practice. So Gonsalves was playing. He was our backup left guard all season. Last year he played all tackle. Then they moved him to guard all season. Now they're asking him to play center. And then they want him to start on tackle for the game. So he did a fantastic job too. So they all stepped up, and I'm extremely proud of all of them.
Anything final for Jimmy?
Jimmy, I talked to your mom. You have a pretty special mom. I talked to her back before they were allowed to come to any games, and I know she's probably been in the stands at every one since then. How much has it meant to you to have her in the stands for Senior Day and for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it's meant everything to have my mom and dad there. They haven't – I can't remember them ever missing a game. At least one of my parents were at a game of mine since I was in first grade. So, they deserve all the praise, anything I get, because it's the way they raised me and supported me all throughout my career. So it's meant everything to have them at the games.